Welcome to the Success Sensei podcast for anyone interested in success, happiness, and balance. We'll teach you how to be a black belt at life. And now, your host, former professional fighter, multiple world champion, entrepreneur, and investor, Robert Devane.
Bowing in, this is Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei, helping you to win at life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 266, Beware of Cults.
It's the Success Sensei podcast main event.
Beware of cults. Let's start off with what is a cult. So a cult is a group or a movement held together by a shared commitment to a leader or an ideology. It has a belief system that has the answers to all of life's questions and offers a special solution to be gained only by following the rules of that leader or that ideology. So that in brief is a cult. I'm sure you have in your mind what a cult is and what it isn't. Some people have been part of cults in the past, and we want to prevent people from going into unhealthy cults in the future. Some people weren't even aware that they were involved with cults, or some people got involved with certain things that became cult-like or certainly turned into cults. And what does a cult include? What can it include? I suppose everybody immediately thinks about religion and religious cults, but it could come from a certain type of a movement, like as we were saying, ideology, a club, an association, or an activity. I have seen cults in sports. I've seen certain gyms and certain sports that were run like cults, and it mightn't have been aware to the person at the very start, but then it becomes apparent as you go on and the further you become involved. So it could be a cult, or it could have cult-like qualities. There could be, a leader that isn't a healthy leader. There could be a leader that doesn't have healthy motives, or just a movement in general could be unhealthy or toxic. And what does, a cult entail? Why is it so negative? Why is it something that you need to look out for? Well, generally, it's to do with control. It's to do with, there might be punishment. There's certainly manipulation, and that manipulation could be physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually, or financially. So we've pretty much covered every area of human society. Why would people even consider joining a cult? There's many reasons that people might want to consider joining a cult, and most people that do consider it are most of the time are plucked from economically sound backgrounds and educated backgrounds and have above average intelligence. So having the view that only stupid people can get bamboozled into joining cults and being a part of cults is actually incorrect. A lot of people can find themselves in that situation. Certain cults will actually specifically target valuable members. What does the disciple gain? So what does somebody who's joining a cult or has joined a cult, or unbeknownst to themselves have gone down a certain road, what is it that they're perceiving that they're going to achieve? Well, religious fulfillment is the obvious one. Political activism, self-actualization, and just a strong sense of belonging, which is really strong in all of us. We all have a strong sense of belonging, and many people join because they simply want to get ahead of others. Maslow's hierarchy of needs can very much be fulfilled by cults. So it starts off on the bottom is your physiological needs, which is your air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, your basics, in other words. That might be fulfilled by the group, the activity, the organization, or certainly the information that they can give you to help yourself supply those things to yourself. Then the next one is your safety needs, which is, personal security, employment, resources, health. That would be your property as well. That would be your safety needs. That could also be serviced, or certainly, the cult may help you to service those things. And the biggest one, love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. A lot of people are so, disconnected, despite social media, despite aeroplanes, despite all these ways that we can travel and all these ways that we can connect, and many people are lonely, and many people, i.e. all of us, want to belong somewhere or to something. The higher levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can Google it and get more in depth into it yourself, because it explains a lot of human motivation, a lot of different areas, not just about joining cults, but it is your esteem, the respect and self-respect and respect of others, and self-esteem, and status, recognition, all of those things as well. You may gain temporarily from being in certain organizations. And the self-actualization one, the desire to become the most that you can be the carrot that's dangled above you to continue in an unhealthy group or an unhealthy organization. It can be easy to justify to yourself being in a cult. You might say to yourself, it's the price of success, that, it's paying your dues, that it's starting at the bottom and working your way up. But if it's unhealthy, it can actually leave you in a worse position to restart the next time. It can leave you in a worse position than you were when you were trying to achieve certain things in your life. So you have to be very careful. When you join certain groups or certain activities, you mightn't be aware of the culture at the beginning. It's like I suppose going into a toxic relationship. People don't show you all their cards at the very, very beginning until you're committed and until you have feelings. And then you really realize what they're like. And if, it was underhanded in any way, you can find yourself in a precarious position. Why am I talking about cults right now? Why am I doing an episode on cults? And it's because all the time, every day now, I see people being sold to and preyed upon through social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have done 266 episodes and I've never sold anything, no course, no product. So I don't have an agenda regarding that. I'm not saying I mightn't hopefully someday stop procrastinating and get my book out, but it's very different to what I'm seeing on other people's social media. And there's a lot of selling. There's a lot of, being preyed upon. There's a lot of seeking out impressionable people to facilitate the person's own self-interests. My business as well has never offered any or operated any contracts, which means that people return if they like it and they leave if they don't. And, one of the signs of a cult is, if you're not happy and you do want to leave, there shouldn't be that many barriers to exit. I mean, that's a strong warning or red light to any group that you're in. And I wanted to also just to reassure anyone out there who thinks that they're introverted or that they have a lone wolf personality or they keep their cards or their plans close to their chest. You're not in the minority of successful business people. Successful business people a lot of the time are just like, anyone else that's introverted and might attempt to do things or too much by themselves. So if you are going to seek out of which you will, groups to belong to, activities to participate, look for healthy groups, look for healthy associations, look for healthy networking, look for healthy relationships. That is what you deserve. Don't put up with anything else. It's not something that you have to go through in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And if you look around us, I'm trying to specifically not mention, any one area. I said sports because that's what I come from. I've seen a lot of unhealthy organizations in my time, but it's across the board in many different facets and many different interests in human life that there are unfortunately cult-like activities and associations and clubs and ideologies and religions. And once you're aware of them, and once you might know some of the telltale signs, and once you know ultimately you do have a choice, it's not something that you put up with. And for every unhealthy one, I'm sure there's a healthy one out there. And to just keep looking and to keep on track and to keep staying positive. And once you do that, and you avoid any of these, negative things that we've discussed, and you don't get suckered in, then, it's going to make your path a hell of a lot easier. It's going to make your associations and your groups and your networking a hell of a lot healthier, which is a win-win for everybody, because it means that, you'll get a lot out of it. And then in return, you're going to give a lot to others as well. And the circle and the cycle of life continues. So that's the episode on Beware of Cults. I would absolutely love to hear your input. I would love to hear your experience. Let me know anytime. Thank you for listening. I'm Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei. Nearly screwed that up. Bowing out.
This has been the Success Sensei, fighting the winning fight. So add us, subscribe, like, and comment. Keep those hands up and keep moving forward.